We've got men's team and all that, but it's kind of been relegated to like the beer leagues, and you know what I mean. It's really unfortunate because we had competitive teams.
And there's still some, like Brett was still playing up to a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because we're from Peterborough.
Oh, okay.
Welcome fans to Collings Field here at Nova Park for today's softball matchup.
Nope, nope.
On the mound for your Thunderbirds, Shelby Kemper. Fly off upfield. Now batting number 3, Chelsea Holtzman.
Just a two-step. No worries, sir.
Now batting number 16,
Actually not sure what the count is. The count is 3-1. Just had a little bit of audio trouble, but I will get it under control. down on strikes.
Now batting Simon Fraser, number 5, Rebecca Kirkpatrick.
There are 2 runners on with 2 away. We do have a guest commentator, but I don't think his mic is working. It's a 1-2 count. I'm going to see if I can track down our guest commentator and see what's wrong with his microphone. We're not sitting together because we're using a wireless system. Definitely seem to be having a problem with my graphics.
As your Thunderbirds, number 10, Amelia Trembath, making the final out of the top half of the first. 3 runners left on base, no runs.
Okay, Thomas.
Fans, a friendly reminder that at the end of the second inning, we ask that you join us in recognizing the senior players from both our UBC Thunderbirds and SFU. That'll be taking place at the end of the second inning.
Excuse me, could you give this to Thomas? Could you give that to the guy right in that bubble there? Well, good afternoon from the first time ever called it, Collings Field at Nobel Park. Here in Westbrook, a suburb of Vancouver, British Columbia, and we are watching the UBC Thunderbirds take on Simon Fraser University. It's a first. This field was dormant and not very productive for the area of Westbrook, but the Community Association, the University of British Columbia, alumni, professors, and parents got together and decided to pool their money, share the resource, and you're seeing the fruits of their labor right now. We are about to begin the bottom of the first inning. We had a very pleasant problem that we hope always happens here at Collings Field at Nobel Park, and that is we have so many people there in the way and we couldn't get set up technically. And so those people have gone to the right field line, the left field line, and all around the outfield.
Your first batter, number 1, Gabby Freer.
We are sharing our space as the PA announcer announces Gabby Freer, the left-handed leadoff hitter for the UBC Thunderbirds. Let's quickly review the top of the first. Shelby Kemple took the mound from Waterloo, Ontario for the Thunderbirds. as Freer tries a slap hit, as those lefties will like to do sometimes. And taking care of business was Alex Ogg, the third baseman, who relayed the hand of Finkelstein at first base, and 1 out. So getting back to the top of the first, the score is 0-0 because Alex Ogg led off with a single. Hannah Finkelstein flew out to left field. That was Hannah Hansen out there for UBC making the first out. The third batter for Simon Fraser, Chelsea Hotner, flew out to center field. That was snagged by Mia Valcke for UBC. And then Kemple gave up back-to-back walks to load the bases. And those were dealt out to Hannah Boulanger and Becca Kirkpatrick. But with the bases loaded and 2 outs, Tanny Balsine grounded to first baseman Amelia Trimbath, who caught it, stepped on the base, and ended the threat. Here's a deep fly ball to center field, not quite deep enough, as Avery Hilpert drills one if there was a warning track, it would have been caught on the warning track. It was that far to dead center field. And so, very quickly, UBC has 2 out with nobody on here in the bottom of the first inning. At the plate now is Mia Valcke, the right-hander. Ball low, down and into Valcke. On deck is Nicole Salas. Hoping that Valcke can find her way on and get a chance to drive her in. Strike right down the middle. So back to Collings Field, and this is going to be the news of the day, the theme of the day, because this is just a vibrant, energetic, electric atmosphere. All kinds of support from the community and the university. And this will be UBC's new home field. The last number of years, they have had all of their practices and games in Surrey at Softball City, that beautiful complex, but it's an hour away, so the athletes who are also trying to be students had an additional 2 hours a day driving back and forth to Surrey to practice and play. Well, now that's history. And starting today, October 2nd, 2021, Collings Field here at Nobel Park will be the home field to the UBC Thunderbirds softball team. It's adjacent to the campus. They're going to have their friends and roommates able to come. And boy, everybody in this equation is happy to be here. That makes it a full count to Valcke. 2 out, nobody on. We're in the bottom of the first, 0-0. Valcke rips a line drive to left field. Brought in by Georgia Ogg out in left field. So runner on first, that'll be 2 out. Cleanup hitter for UBC.
Next up
is Nicole Salas. She's the back catcher.
Nicole Salas.
A real leader on this team, a real senior, a person who takes charge. She knows the game of baseball well. She's been around. She's strong. Very valuable commodity.
Softball. Just saying.
Salas takes a pitch, it's her first at bat. She's going to get a couple. Now, we're only playing 1 game here today, and Collings, Coach Gord Collings, who this field is named after, is going to want to get as many of his players in the game as possible. So normally, if you're a starter, you're going to play the full game. You're going to get 3 or 4 at bats, so you can take a pitch like Salas did, but she may only get 1 or 2 at bats because I expect Collings will go to the bench early. There's a fly ball. This is the deep left center. This is going into the trees. Home run to left field, Nicole Salas. It's the yellowest tree in the park.
Left, number 15.
If you go around the left-hand side of the field, there's trees that go from yellow to orange to red. They get more red as they get to home plate. Well, that one there had a visitor. The ball off of Nicole Salas's bat, driving a deep home run and putting UBC ahead 2-0 here in the bottom of the first inning. Excited bench. Simon Fraser got the first two hitters in this bottom of the first. Gabby Freer on an attempted punt, but she was thrown out by Alex Ogg to first base. And then flying out to center field, deep was Avery Hilpert. Mia Volk hit a full count single to left field, and Salas on the third pitch drove a fastball over the wall, giving the Thunderbirds a 2-0 lead. Solid base hit to right field. You got to be careful in softball. Those bases are only about 60 feet. Therefore, the outfielders are a lot closer to the infield. And when it's hit that hard, sometimes you can actually get thrown out at first base. So you can't sit there and trot to first base, say like a baseball player might. So UBC gets their third consecutive hit. And has another runner on first base. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Nicole Salas put UBC ahead 2-0. Hannah Hansen followed up with a single. She's on first base now with 2 out, and this brings to the plate Emma Dorval, UBC's dynamic shortstop, and she can do it with the bat as well. Pitching for Simon Fraser, by the way, is Caitlin Kim. Going around the infield, Hannah Finkelstein's at first, Becca Kirkpatrick at second, Hannah Belanger at shortstop, Alex Ogg at third base. And going around the outfield, in left field is Georgia Ogg, and center Megan Duclos, and right field Chelsea Hotner. The catcher for Simon Fraser, I'm going to get you that name in a second. It looks like she's number 8. We weren't given the positions in the lineup, so we're going to do some detective work here. And we're going to conclude that that would be Caitlin Zagari catching. We're going to go with that for now until she gets her catcher's equipment off and I can get a good look at her number. There's another base hit, 4 in a row. Emma Dorval went to a 3-0 count, took a pitch. When you saw her squaring around to bunt, that wasn't her thinking she was going to bunt with 3-0 count. That was to distract the pitcher. It didn't work. With a 3-ball and 1-strike count, she drills a single to right field. Hannah Hansen moves up to second base, giving UBC runners on first and second with 2 outs. And at the plate now is another product of Waterloo Goes to Baseball in Ontario. This is Shelby Kemple. She was a starting pitcher for UBC, got out of a jam in the top of this inning, which you saw but didn't get to hear about. Kemple is UBC's Shohei Ohtani. She is a slugger and a quality pitcher. Ohtani on his way to probably being the MVP of the American League. Hasn't been a player in 100 years. His name was Babe Ruth. You've probably heard of him since a major leaguer did it. But right here at UBC, Shelby Kemple can pitch, and boy, can she hit. And she can also hit with power. Runners on first and second. 2 out, bottom of the first inning. It's high. Sometimes those high ones you start chasing, especially with a short porch and softball, and when it comes in at your eyes, the ball looks big and you just want to swing at it like it's a beach ball. This time they're down low and they walk Kemple to load the bases.
Now batting for your T-Birds, number 2, Emily Sherritt.
And as you go down UBC's lineup, most baseball teams, if you would say, as you go down in the lineup, the hitting, starts to drop a bit, the quality of the hitters. Well, that's not the case with this team. Sherritt is a highly successful softball player here at UBC. Left-handed hitters playing third base today, and she will bat with the bases loaded. Simon Fraser makes a trip to the mound. Looks like they are going to make a change. And I just mentioned that Shelby Kemple was hitting for UBC. She drew a walk. She's on first base now. But the pitcher coming in for UBC is also a Waterloo Ghost product. There's 4 of them on the field today. Shelby Kemple, Mia Valcke, who scored the first run for UBC, and Avery Hilpert, their second baseman. They all come from the Ghosts, and their teammate is now going to take the mound for UBC. So number 2 is Anissa Zakara, Chuck. Anissa's tall and strong. When she plays defense, I remember her from the Waterloo Ghost. She can really throw the ball overhand as well. Could have been a baseball player as easily as she is a softball player. So let's recap quickly as Anissa Zakara finishes her warm-up pitches. Simon Fraser has changed pitchers already in the first. They don't want UBC to get away. It started off great for Caitlin Kim, retiring Gabby Freer on a ground out, Avery Hilpert on a fly out to center with nobody out. Mia Valcke singled. Nicole Salas hit the first home run of the game. Home run to left, made it 2-0. Hannah Hansen singled to right on a ground ball through the hole. Emma Dorval followed with a line shot to right field. And Shelby Kemple drew a bases loaded walk. So ahead 2-0 with 2 out. This is Emily Sherritt batting with the bases loaded. Strike called right on the outside corner, well placed. When you don't have any strikes on you, you can be a little picky and let those go. But when you get 1 or 2 strikes, you got to broaden your zone. There's one down the middle, a changeup for strike 2. I would call the changeup Zakarchuk's bread and butter pitch. Now, I haven't seen her live in a few years, but I watched her on the stream of some scrimmage games like this one. Played at Simon Fraser University the last 2 weekends, and I found her going to that changeup frequently and having good success with it. This is the 5th scrimmage game these 2 teams have played this fall. Due to the leagues that they play in, they're quite unique, these 2 universities. Simon Fraser plays in the NCAA in the USA Division II, while UBC participates in the NAIA across the border. The other 10 teams in their conference are all in the Washington, Montana, Oregon range, the Northwest. Trouble getting over the border right now, of course, due to COVID. Here's a drive, it's tailing to the line, a dive, a beautiful dive, but she didn't get it. Georgia Ogg had to go off the tip of her glove. 2 runs cross the plate.
That's a 2-run liner to the left side, hit by number 2, Emily Sherritt. Now batting for your Thunderbirds, number 10, Amelia Trembath.
Georgia Ogg got a good jump on that ball. Whenever the ball is hit at the left fielder, where they're standing between them and the left field line, or to the right fielder and between her and the right field line, the ball always tails towards the line, whether they're a right-handed or a left-handed hitter. In this case, Sherritt's a left-hander, so when it goes over there, that ball slices. A golfer can relate to that term. It goes at the center fielder but tails towards the line. If it's a right-hander and it goes over in that same area, they actually hook it, again like a golfer. Same thing to the other side. Georgia Ogg got a good jump on the ball, laid out parallel to the ground, and the ball just went off the tip of her glove. 2-run score for UBC. Hannah Hansen and Emma Dorval crossed the plate. It's 4-0, while the throw went home. And after the ball ricocheted off the glove, Emily Sherritt got all the way to second base and put herself in scoring position. And now at the plate, the 9th hitter of the inning for UBC, Amelia Trembath, number 10, first base, and she also catches. Strike low and inside. The umpires today at the home plate calling that strike is Susan Stafford. She's from Burnaby, BC, and the base umpire is Brett Orton. Brett Orton from Vancouver. Good location. Zakarchuk throws it just a couple of inches off the outside corner, but it was too close for Trembath to take. Now she has 2 strikes. Runners on second and third. First base is open if they happen to walk her. And there's a line drive to right field. It's going to find green grass. And 2 more runs get to score for UBC. This is a scrimmage game, so we're actually not keeping score. But the fact of the matter is, UBC has plated 6 runs this inning. Another 2-strike base hit.
Caitlin Kim.
Drives home 2 more runs for UBC. We're going to go back to the top of the order. We're going to see a pinch hitter now for Gabby Freer. And that's a base hit to left field. UBC is stringing them together.
Kim rips it past third for the single.
This is Freer now hitting. And this is the thing about scrimmage games like this. The coaches can have basically free substitution. The NCAA Division II and NAIA, the US-based conferences, don't allow actual games in the fall, but teams can scrimmage against each other. It's kind of like playing an exhibition game within your own team, but in this case, you play maybe someone who's nearby. It doesn't cost a lot to get to the other park, and you see a different set of faces and uniforms to play against. So BC has plated 6 runs this first inning. What better way to celebrate your new baseball field than that? After Amelia Trimbath knocked in runs 5 and 6. Freer, her second at-bat of the inning, strikes out to end the inning. UBC finishes with a roll. They scored 6 runs.
6 runs on 5 hits for your UBC Thunderbirds. At the end of the first, 6-0 T-Birds.
Actually, it was 6 hits. We'll be with you in a minute. We're here at Collings Field at Nobel Park. UBC has had an offensive explosion in the bottom of the first inning, and now we move on to inning 2. Shelby Kemple back at the mound. We'll be back in a minute. Yeah. of the day as we begin the top of the second. The Toronto Blue Jays are ahead 8-1. And do we ever thank you who are tuned in right now, everybody from Trent Hilpert in Waterloo to people across the country whose players are on this team or friends. You're watching the UBC Thunderbird women's softball team host for the first time at this field Simon Fraser University. This is a scrimmage game. These two teams normally don't play against each other, even though they're in the city of Vancouver. UBC Thunderbirds play in the NAIA. They're based south of the border from here. And Simon Fraser plays in the NCAA Division II. By the way, at the end of last inning, let's just clear up the scoring here because we got underway here on the broadcast. You saw the top of the first inning, but you didn't hear it because we had such a crowd here at Collings Field at Nobel Park that we had to move some wires and chairs and tables, and we only got into the audio portion here in the bottom of the first inning. Base hit up the middle to lead off the top of the second. Kemple on the mound for UBC.
Number 4.
And that base hit was by Gabby Coder of SFU. I wanted to clear up one scoring issue in that bottom of the first inning. After UBC's first 2 hitters made outs, and with nobody on and 2 out, UBC struck for 6 runs. Valcke with a single, Salas big home run, Hansen single, Dorval single, that's Emma Dorval. Shelby Kemple drew a walk, Emily Sherritt doubled home 2 of the runs, Amelia Trimbath singled home 2 more runs. And that was Caitlin Kim who snuck in that additional base hit as UBC bats 10, not 9, again because this is a scrimmage game and it's kind of open season to those things. And then Gabby Freer, the leadoff hitter, got her second at bat of the inning and grounded out, or excuse me, struck out to end the inning. So we're kind of going inning at a time because there's not really a winner or a loser in scrimmage games. But in that first inning, Simon Fraser University did not score, and UBC played at 6 runs. Now, when I coach scrimmage games, I like to kind of play inning by inning, like a skins game if you're a golfer. And but again, they don't want the players to get into winning and losing in the fall. They want them to get a good start to the academic year. Here's a very high but also very deep fly ball, but it's not going to get that far. And that ball is caught.
Oh, get the fly out to right.
Gabby Freer, the leadoff hitter for UBC.
12, Megan Duclos.
Camped herself under that. Boy, when it left the bat, these trees are so high here at Collings Field at Nobel Park. It got almost as high as the tallest tree. I thought that thing might have more depth. Here's a bunt, well placed on the third baseline. Gutsy move, but a wise move by experienced veteran Emily Sherritt. She realized that even if she had picked up that ball clean and tried to throw out sorry, we had a pinch hitter already. I think this is Megan Duclos, but I might be wrong on this. It might be bear with me for just a second here, folks. In that first game, you can have your glitches. Information is not flowing. There's no electricity here yet at the park. The field is golden. What a great job they've done recreating this. I got handed the SFU lineup, and again, they don't even really do a lineup card for scrimmage games, but they scratched one out for me, and it's got just their first names and nicknames and no positions and numbers, so I'm figuring it out on the go a little bit here, and that's nobody's fault. That's, you know, if this is an official game, you'd have 3 copies, and the ump would have one and all that stuff, but again, we don't want to portray this as anything more than a friendly, that's what they call it in soccer, right? Well hit ball to short. They're going to get one. No, it's going to slip out. The throw is just behind Hilpert as the UBC shortstop, Emma Dorval, threw it from the side, and the ball kind of tailed up to her right, which was Hilpert's left, as she was thinking about catching the ball and stepping on second at the same time, hoping to relay it to first. So it turns out to be an error. And that puts runners at first and second for Simon Fraser. Maybe this is going to be their turn for a big inning. If there was an official score, if this was an official game, that ball's hit long and it's going to go for a ride into the trees. No, it just bounces into the fence. It's going to play at least one. Here comes the throw home, cut off, and scoring is Gabby Corder, putting a runner across.
Hogg with the hit to the outfield. That's the first one across for SFU.
Alex Hogg really hammering that ball into right center field, and it just carried. The wind is blowing out there, but it bounced at the base of the fence. She winds up at third base, so therefore, of course, that'll be 2 runs that scored. I have to include Duclos with that as she reached first on the fielder's choice.
Finkelstein with the fly out to second.
So Hannah Finkelstein hits a signed soft line drive to second base.
Chelsea Hotner.
That's the second out of the inning. Finkelstein lining to Avery Hilpert, and back to the plate is Chelsea Hotner, SFU's right fielder. Hotner flew out to deep center when she batted in the first inning. This ballpark we're at, Collings Field at Nobel Park, used to be called Nobel Park. There's some amazing gardens here that anyone who loves nature like that would love to be at any day of the whole year. That ball's fouled out of play. There's a children's play structure. There are apartment buildings that are behind all of that, kind of going down the right field line. Westbrook Street is going down the, let me see if I got that right. You guys live near here? You guys live near here? Is that Westbrook, that street right here? Yeah. It is? Okay. So Westbrook, we believe, goes down parallel to the left field line. The entire outfield has a forest of very high 100-foot trees. Grounder hard to short, should end the inning, flip to second. Beautifully done. Nice underhand. Great play by Emma Dorval, the shortstop for UBC. Notice she just threw a soft underhand to Avery Hilpert as she got her foot on second base for the final out of the inning. No sense going overhand or throwing it very hard. Just lob it into the glove, hit the player right in the chest.
We ask that you join us in recognizing our senior players from both UBC and SFU. That will take place at the end of the second.
So the first inning is behind us. UBC had a big offensive outburst in the first inning. They hit the home plate 6 times with 2 outs, while Simon Fraser did not score in the top half. Now we begin the second inning, and Simon Fraser put a couple runs across. Gabby Corder singled to center field. Georgia Ogg.
Second one.
Okay, yeah. Flew out to center, and Duclos reached by air, fielder's choice, and then the big triple by Alex Ogg drove home 2 runs. We are going to have our first guest of the day, if I can flag him down.
Batting for your UBC Thunderbirds,
there he
number
comes.
22, Avery Hilpert.
This is unbelievable. Actually, you know what, for the inning, maybe just hold it.
This your mic, huh?
That's the mic. It's wireless.
Yeah.
And we have our first guest of the game.
I can fix it.
We are going to get, just double check, before I introduce this guest to you folks, who you are going to thoroughly enjoy. I need to make sure, because it's a scrimmage game, there's more substitutions than any normal baseball game. Almost every inning, there'll be players changing places. So to lead off the top of the second for UBC, Avery Hilpert,
Number 16,
who made
Mia
that
Valcke.
final out of the top of the second. Grounds out. So there's one out. Mia Valcke steps up to the plate. First time up, she hit a line shot to left field in the first inning. And now, let me get back to something that you're going to enjoy. With me is Ainsley Carey. I bet you some people sometimes say your last name
That's
first.
correct. That happens often.
But let's go from the name to the title. This gentleman is here as what a scene setter I've got. And if I read your whole biography, it'd be the last inning and the people would be going home. So I'm going to try to somehow shortchange you as Valcke takes a very close pitch, but it was called a ball. The count's 3-0. Valcke will not usually get the take sign. A lot of times baseball coaches will have them take with 3-0 to draw a walk, but she's a threat to go deep. She does choose to swing. The green light means if you get your pitch and your pitch only, then take a rip at it, but you better hit it hard somewhere. So Coach Collings will probably have a little visit with me and say, you beat that into the ground for a foul ball. Was that your perfect pitch, or are you just so hungry to hit that you decided to swing at it? Count is 3-1. And line drive the other way and into the shoestring catch by the right fielder.
Valcke with the fly out to right field.
That's Chelsea Hotner out there, who kind of casually came
Now
in
batting for your
and made a
UBC
basket
Thunderbirds,
catch.
Number 15, Nicole Salas.
Nicole Salas at the plate. So,
Valcke, that was your batter up there, right? Were you coaching up from back here? Is that what I saw going on?
never. That ended a long time ago. I can assure you of that. And that's the way that goes. Our shelf life has ended a long time ago as far as those things go.
Yeah.
The vice president of Student Affairs at University of British Columbia, as the ground out by Nicole Salas ends the inning. So now we won't have to challenge ourselves with the fast-paced softball game, and we can get down to business here with Ainsley Carey. That was a 4-3 ground out. So if there was winning and losing, we go inning by inning. In the top of the second, SFU put 2 runs across the plate, while UBC did not score, so they win that inning, so to speak, and we'll clear the whiteboard off and they'll do the next. So Ainsley Carey, the Masters of Counseling Education.
That's
Counsel
right.
Education.
Yep.
PhD, Vice President of Student Affairs at Auburn and USC.
That's right.
That's University of Southern California, folks. And by the way, did I mention he went to school at the University of Florida? Yeah, the Gators. You know, they got kind of a good football team. Oh, and did I mention he happened to play football there?
Yeah.
You have been around. You have been to the 4 corners of North America, and now you land at UBC. Was it 2019 you got here?
Yep, I arrived at UBC in April of 2019. Had about 11 months on the ground before COVID hit. And then my last year and a half at UBC has been under COVID, but it's been a great place to be. One of the best places in the world to be right now.
I was looking at your biography last night, and I have to ask the question, why BC?
Oh,
Why?
Wow, that's a great question. My family and I some time ago decided that one of our experiences that we wanted for our daughter, I have a 14-year-old daughter named Aaliyah, and we wanted her to have an out of the U.S. experience, live somewhere else in the world, struggle, learn a new language, drive on the other side of the road, eat foreign foods. So of course we decided Vancouver, British Columbia was the perfect place to go out and do all of those things. But seriously, we really wanted an international experience, and we received a call from UBC, and I know Professor Santa Ono's reputation from the US, so we decided to make the trip up here, and it's been more than worth it. It's been a great place to be.
Well, that's a great segue to my second question. And we're going to kind of go in and out of this. I don't want to. The seniors of the UBC Thunderbirds are being honored right now.
The official opening of Collings Field.
I'm going to let the PA announcer say their names, because you talk about girls who got shortchanged because of COVID.
Yeah.
It's the
Fans, when our softball season was cut short in March 2020, we were unable to recognize our 5 UBC senior players and the contributions they made to our team. It was unfortunate that day in March would prove to be their last game as a UBC Thunderbird and that their playing careers at UBC came to an end. In addition, due to the health restrictions in place over the last 2 seasons, we did not have the opportunity to properly and publicly acknowledge the seniors as we normally do. Coach Collings and the team would like to take this opportunity to recognize and show their appreciation to our graduating and graduated seniors. Assisting with the presentations will be sophomore players Emma Dorval, Kiona Nordquist, Hannah Clegg, Gabby Dorval, Lindsay Bell, and Arshleen Bajwa. Players, when your name is announced, we ask the UBC seniors to join Coach Collings on the field with your parents to receive a token of appreciation from your team. Our first senior player to be recognized today is Jordan Britton Young. Jordan, could you and your parents please join Coach Collings on the field?
A beautiful idea to have their parents go up.
Heat. She took her fiery competitive edge to Douglas College and 2 years later transferred to UBC. She is recognized by her teammates as a dedicated and determined athlete who is highly disciplined and committed to be the best she can be. Jordan is serving as a volunteer assistant with the team this season, fitting the time in while working. Jordan will be receiving her arts degree in interdisciplinary studies this fall and is joined today by her parents, Jackie and Yerson. Thank you for your continued support, Jordan, and all the best.
I love the fact, Ainsley, that the parents got to walk up because, you know, they stroked the check in the first place and then they push her out of the nest. And they did a tremendous job with Jordan. Right. And it's great that the parents had to enjoy this in person as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important
Tamara
for
is
us
from
to
South
realize
Delta
that.
and transferred to UBC after spending 2 years at the University of Central Florida. She is recognized by her teammates as being caring and passionate and as an energetic leader both on and off the field. Tamara is also serving as a volunteer assistant with the team this season when she has time from her regular job. Tamara will receive her degree in psychology this fall and has been accepted into the master's degree, planning to pursue a master's degree in the field of psychology. Thank you and all the best, Tamara.
Behind every student athlete, there's a whole family, right? It's a whole team of people that makes this happen. That's why
Our next senior to be recognized today is Casa Courtney.
I can speak firsthand to that. To live in Ontario, and thanks to Thomas Bell Productions and his wife Tracy, who air these games. That's how you're watching us right now. We get to see them from 3,000 kilometers away.
As a T-Bird, Casa was also recognized both years as an academic All-Canadian for her excellent grades. She played her minor ball in Delta and transferred to UBC after 2 years at Douglas College. Her teammates remember her as a kind, compassionate teammate who was hardworking and committed and extremely humble. Casa will also be remembered for hitting one of UBC's longest home runs well over the scoreboard in right field and off the roof of our bus during a game in Eastern Oregon. Casa graduated from UBC with a degree in kinesiology and is planning to continue her education in a master's program. Casa is joined by her parents, Mike and Susan. We wish Casa all the best.
Woo. That's so exciting.
That's the least that
Our
they
next
deserve.
senior to be recognized this evening is Emily Chorpita. A fourth-year Thunderbird, Emily is from Delta and played her minor ball for the Delta Heat. Emily will be remembered as much for her sense of humor and for being a caring and supportive teammate as for her enthusiasm and focus on the field. She was one of our leaders both on and off the field, both vocally and by example, and was a committed and dedicated athlete at practices and in the conditioning room. Emily graduated from the Faculty of Arts and is now enrolled in the UBC nursing program. Emily is joined by her parents, Ralph and Kelly. We wish Emily all the best.
I like how the SFU team comes out and pays attention to the ceremony as well.
It's very respectful, you know. I mean,
our next senior to be recognized is Taylor Jones.
2 great programs in the same city. They don't normally get to play each other this much ever.
A 4-year Thunderbird, Taylor is from Maple Ridge and played her minor ball for the Delta Heat. Her never-give-up attitude and tireless effort combined with her positive energy endear her to teammates. We miss her charisma, good nature, and infectious smile, and her slippery dance steps in the Montana mud. Taylor graduated with an arts degree and is now in the UBC Faculty of Education studying to become a teacher. Taylor is joined by her parents, Sonia and Scott. All the best, Taylor.
I said I like it like that.
In addition to recognizing our senior Thunderbirds, we would also like to recognize the senior players from Simon Fraser University who are also graduating this year and were impacted by COVID restrictions the last 2 years. Would the SFU seniors please come forward when your name is announced and receive a token of appreciation from Coach Collings and our Thunderbirds in recognition of your perseverance, commitment, and dedication to Simon Fraser University and to the game of softball. Coach Gord is being assisted by seniors Mia Valcke, Shelby Kemple, Avery Hilpert, Amelia Trembeth, Gabby Freer, and Emily Sherritt. And the players from SFU, Rebecca Kirkpatrick. Chelsea Hotner.
This is a nice show of respect both ways. When you played
Yeah.
football for the Gators, were you friendly with the Miami Hurricanes
Not
and the
one
Florida
bit,
State
right?
Seminoles?
We didn't do that. You didn't give awards to the other team
Hannah Finkelstein.
on your home field. We gave a whooping. That's what we gave.
If you
Not
would've-
awards.
If you would have given an award, it would have been the last time you gave out an award on your home field.
Alex Ogg.
That's awesome.
And Hannah Boulanger. Fans, that concludes our seniors recognition. Let's have a big round of applause for all of the seniors here today.
Well done, UBC. Well
A
done.
big thank you to all the parents for your ongoing support in helping our programs at UBC and SFU provide an opportunity for your daughters to pursue their dreams on the diamond and in the classroom right here in Canada. And with that, it is time to get back to the game and play ball.
Beautifully done. Ainsley, before the senior ceremony, you led me to someone I want to talk about. Another guy with a pedigree that just is unparalleled. He went to school at U of Chicago and McGill. All he was I can hardly even pronounce it, a molecular immunologist.
Yeah.
He was at Johns Hopkins,
Yep.
taught at Harvard, College of London, president of the University of
I
Cincinnati.
think I know who you're talking about, but keep going.
You know, the guy is bilingual. He plays the cello. He is tech savvy. He's into social media.
Yeah.
A university president.
Yeah.
I met him for the first time in person. He squeezed me in after an LGBTQ conference. That was his second appearance on a weeknight after a full day at the school. He came out strongly about mental health and some experiences that he had undertaken and shared them publicly.
Yeah.
What's it like working with Santa Ono, the rock star
That's
of
what
UBC?
I was just going to mention that. I was going to say the answer to your question is Santa Ono. That's who that is. He is the reason why my family and I came to UBC. He's super student-centered, right? He's committed to the student from day one that I've been here. The first thing that he told me, he said, Ainsley, in your role as vice president for students, be unapologetically supportive of the students, right? That's my role as vice president for students. And at the same time, he's committed to the entire academic mission. He knows what it's like to be a faculty member. He knows what it means to support athletic and recreation on campus. He understands what it means to help students support their mental health. So he's completely committed to everything that a university is all about. Good communities, athletics, academics, student support. So it is the primary reason that I'm here, to work with Santa Ono.
Well, you know, we're here, of course, with the celebration, the opening of Collings Field at Nobel Park.
Yeah.
And in your bio, because we've just met for the first time.
Yeah.
We talked on the phone yesterday and we're in person here today.
Yeah.
You said, someone asked you, you mentioned Barack Obama as a leader that you admire.
Yeah.
And they asked you, what traits in a leader do you admire? And you said two things. A person who is accessible and a person who follows through.
Yeah.
And you are standing here today because you just capitalized those words. You were the cog, the University of British Columbia liaison, center piston, cylinder, deep fly to left field, right field. I don't think it's going to be out, but it's off the wall. Valcke made a shot at it, but it just went off her glove because it was simultaneously with hitting the fence and it fell out. You have to, if you catch a ball and you're falling, you have to, in baseball, like football in a way, have to hold on to it, including when you land on the ground.
That's
So
correct.
a beautiful double to lead off the inning by
But Valcke made a great try there. That was commendable. She was on the warning track and took it all the way through. Great effort.
Hannah Belanger hit that long shot to right center field, and off she goes to third base on a wild pitch. So you admire people who are accessible and who follow through.
Yeah.
You were the person, you know, kind of wearing the UBC administration in this event here.
Yes.
A dormant park, more or less.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the genesis of how what we're looking at started out and how we got here today?
Bob, thanks for asking this question. I've been at UBC now for 2.5 years. This is the most exciting thing that I've been involved with throughout my entire 20-plus career in college administration. When I arrived here in 2019, you know, I interviewed all the coaches and visited all the teams and visited all the facilities and just said, you know, tell me what's working, what's not working, and what we need to work on. And one of the things I learned about was that our women's softball field team was traveling all the way to Surrey, an hour commute to practice and compete, while our men had a facility right here on campus. So the first thing that I said to our athletic director at the time is, we got to fix this. Nowhere else would this be acceptable, and it shouldn't be acceptable at one of Canada's top athletic programs. So over the past 1.5 years, the team got together and made this happen. So I'm so excited to be part of the inspiration, but it's donors that really made this happen. Donors and parents that have been so supportive of this program. And our coach, our head coach, Gord, he's been committed to this for, even when things were falling apart, Gord stayed committed to this. So I'm just excited to be a part of the inspiration for it.
Now batting number 23.
I hadn't seen the field. I saw some pictures of it along the construction or reconstruction.
Yeah.
And when I go to the car, I'm getting chills now talking about the chills I got when I got out of the car.
Yeah.
It's more beautiful than I even imagined, and I
Yeah.
saw pictures. It's got a fantastic backdrop.
Oh.
Really good for hitters, first of all, because they can get to see the ball off the dark green.
That's right.
But it's made with beautiful red clay. I've been watching the ground balls and how they perform on the turf, and I know there was a lot of changes in the last 2 weeks, even leading up to today's game. And boy, they've done a terrific job. It really seems to be performing perfectly.
Yep.
The dugouts are covered. The stands, you got people sitting in beautiful stands down the right and left field lines. I hope we have crowds like this for a long, long time.
Yeah.
What do you think of? You did something else besides help put a softball field adjacent to the campus. You cut out 2 hours of driving for these girls, an hour to Surrey at a beautiful complex, but albeit an hour away.
Yeah.
And students who are athletes don't have 2 hours a day to add to their agenda.
Yeah.
What do you think about that part of it? And while I'm asking you, I want to ask you about. No, I'm going to ask you that one because I want to ask you a question about student athletes, so I'm going to separate them.
Sure. One of the things that I mentioned in my opening comments is that, you know, universities are clearly committed to things like teaching and research and student support and a number of things that are real obvious. There's some things that are less obvious that universities are committed to, which are things like equity and inclusion, and gender equity is such an important part of the university's value systems. And you can't just say you're about gender equity, you have to demonstrate it. And that's what this facility does. It demonstrates that
12,
our
Lindsay Bell.
women's sports
Now
and our
batting number
men's
25,
sports are
Gabby
equally
Cordero.
important. And if any team is severely disadvantaged, like having to commute an hour to practice every day, we need to do something to fix that. And that's what this represents. This represents our commitment to all of women's sports. Right? It's one step in the right direction, and I hope we continue to evaluate every athletic team and say, how do we remove barriers to make sure that our teams compete on an equal playing field, and that we're building championship sports here, and this is what it takes. Now these student athletes get to be great students in the classroom, and they get to be great athletes on our playing fields, and that's exactly what we want.
Well, and look at the results. I'm going to name 5 girls While they have academic All-Canadian awards, and they also, because they participate in the NAIA, they have the Cascade Collegiate Conference, the CCC, academic all-conference players. They're almost identical criteria.
Yeah.
But on that list is Emily Chorpita, Casa Courtney, Gabby Goko, Avery Hilpert. Back up to catcher, pop up, tried to basket catch it. She just got turned around a little late. When the ball goes in back of the catcher, due to the physics of baseball and aerodynamics, the ball always comes back on a slight angle towards the field. So she was looking straight back at it. She got turned around facing the backstop, almost in time to snag that, but wound up having to try to make a basket catch, and Nicole Salas just had it fall out of her glove. So to continue this list, Amelia Trembath and Mia Valcke, Hannah Hansen, Avery Hilpert, Nicole Salas, who I just mentioned, Trembath and Valcke again. this Ainsley Carey is the VP of students at University of British Columbia. He can give an audio interview and try to catch a foul ball all at the same time. You almost pocketed that thing.
Yes, I did.
Would you have taken it home, or given it back to the umpire?
I would have gave it back.
No, I would have taken it. I would have got a Sharpie and written down what I just saw you do. And you could move aside your Heisman Trophy and all the other awards you probably won and put that ball right there. I mean, you got dirty on that one. You wanted that thing. You were hungry.
Hey, if it wasn't for this concrete, I would have been diving after that ball.
Well, anyway, I liked your comments on these women who I just mentioned. First was the list of all Canadians. The second one, the all academic conference players, not just women's softball at UBC. What did we have? 100 and something academic All-Americans or Canadians last year?
Yeah, that's right. We usually are 100 plus in terms of our academic all-stars across all of our sports. And a part of that is what we do to support our student athletes on and off the field. Academic advising, counseling, physical therapy, you name it, the full works. These are well-rounded students and athletes, and they came to us as well-rounded students and athletes. It's not something that UBC did, it's really what the parents did before they got here. So it's our responsibility to do no harm and to really help them excel and take their game to the next level. And that game is both on the field and in the classroom. I once heard Lou Holtz say to a team, champions compete at everything. They compete in the classroom and they compete on the field. They don't just choose one and then let the other one slide. So I'm glad that our student athletes are proud to do both.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm glad you're here, and all the parents and students are glad you're here. I hear such wonderful things about you and what you did as far as being accessible and following through. Yeah. Those are your words, not last week or last year. Those are your words before you arrived here.
That's right.
And you proved them to be true. I'm gonna. This park it was Nobel Park.
That's right.
And now it's Collings Field after head coach Gord Collings, who deserves that for sure.
Yeah.
At Nobel Park. Nobel Park was named just in the same vein as the Nobel Prize. It was Alfred Nobel. And Alfred Nobel was a Swedish chemist. He invented dynamite. How about that one? And that's what this park was named after. And now it's Collings Field at Nobel Park.
That's right.
The guy who invented dynamite. Your dynamite. And I think there's something really special about those two facts.
You know, I've had a lot of compliments. That's the first time I've been compared to dynamite. Well, I am flattered.
If President Ono's the rock star, I gotta, you gotta. There's another word, and you are dynamite.
Well,
seriously,
thank you so much.
You're full of energy. I have a feeling that UBC is going to benefit so much more in so many areas with you in the position. I wish you luck, and I hope that next one of my quick trips in here with my wife Paula, maybe instead of an interview at a ballpark, we can clink glasses and have dinner and hear about your family and your life.
That would be incredible, and I want to say thank you for your support. I know your daughter's on this team, so that means that you've been supporting this program for a long time, so thank you for your support. Thanks for coming out today, sharing your words of wisdom with the program and making this all happen. You know, every little thing that we do is one step in the right direction, and this is a hugely important part of this for all of us. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and I hope that she's inspired by what we did here today, and every day we find another program to move forward. I especially want to emphasize, I hope that other parents and donors come on out and look at other things at UBC that they can help us level the playing field for all of our student athletes. So thank you so much for your support.
Well, it's a win-win situation. We live in Ontario, and I know you've had some time in Canada, but when Easterners come west, they don't often come home. My son Jackson graduated from Sauder School last year, and he suddenly has his first job in Vancouver. He's got an apartment, he's got a car, and so we're going to have to come here to see him, which is a trip that Paul and I look forward to every time. Great to meet you.
The pleasure was mine.
And I'm sure we'll see each other again. Right,
yes, we will. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was fun. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you doing that very much.
The honor was mine.
I'll let him take care of that. All right. And as phones are ringing, probably to call and make a donation to UBC after that interview, SFU keeps hitting. They've exploded for a couple of runs here, and they're top of the third inning. Up at the plate now, with runners on. Second and third base is the leadoff hitter, Alex Ogg. She's reached base twice today. She singled in the first inning and hit a triple to right field in the second inning. Here she is with another chance to drive in runs. She pops it up, and this one's behind. Salas gets to the backstop, but that ball came back, but not back far enough as far as she's concerned. She didn't get a chance to retire the dangerous Alex Ogg. So far in this inning, SFU has put a couple runs across. Man, that was a great interview. And again, if this was a season game, if this was a game about wins and losses, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to have that very important conversation. We would have stuck with every at-bat. But when you get the Vice President of Students at the UBC dropping by your booth, you want to hear what he's got to say. Line drive. Here come 2 runs thanks to the bat of Alex Ogg.
Clears bases at the line or the center.
When I was in university, we were playing softball in the field to support our street as like a small softball tournament. This guy took one and broke his arm. His arm was just like, yeah, disgusting.
Actually, I was funny story when I was just sort of like when I was supporting Lorraine when I was the softball team and sort of like nearly when you pitched to yourself, right?
If Lindsay Bell, UBC's pitcher, had a baseball cap on instead of a visor, that line drive would have knocked it right off. That was a hard hit ball. Third time she's reached base. Alex Ogg brings home 2 more runs in this third inning for Simon Fraser. She stayed at first base as
now batting number 18.
Center fielder Mia Valcke knew that there was no chance to throw even the runner from second out at home plate, and that's because there was 2 outs, so she left on not only contact but on the start of the swing. Got a great jump and scored.
And so he went down, and his knee's like weird. But one of the guys on the team was at first, like he pulled him.
Beautiful strike. Looked like a slider. I know softball pitchers don't throw sliders, but it was a curveball. But curveballs in softball seem to go over as much as they go down. Down to the same spot. Boy, you're not going to go wrong with a pitch located there. It's a game of success if you can throw cheese at the knees, and those were the last 2 pitches. That were thrown by Lindsay Bell. Here she comes again. Changeup outside. So to second to get the end, and that was just a very well placed pitch. When hitters chase outside pitches, and especially changeups, where they, even though they know they should hit them. If you're a right-handed batter and the outside pitch comes your way, you take what the pitcher gives you and you try to take that ball to right field. But that changeup looks so juicy as it slowly approaches you, you try to pull it. It's just human nature, and it always winds up with a ground out to shortstop, and that's how the inning has ended. With the fielder's choice. So in Simon Fraser's half of the third inning, they've scored 4 runs. And let's see what UBC can do in their half of the third inning. See if they can match or exceed that. And then we'll go on inning by inning. This is the way the teams play scrimmage games. You have little games among what would normally be a big game. We're not adding the scores up from the innings today. We're substituting freely on defense and in the lineup. These two teams are eager to begin their 2022 playing seasons. UBC and the NAIA, the Cascade Conference, Cascade Collegiate Conference, I should say, CCC. And NCAA Division II is the level of ball that Simon Fraser plays in across the border. If you're interested about the Cascade Conference, let me tell you the other 10 teams. They are Bushville University in Oregon, Carroll College in Montana, the College of Idaho, Corbin University in Oregon, Eastern Oregon University, Northwest University in Washington, Oregon Tech, U of Providence in Montana, Southern Oregon, and Warner Pacific University. Those are the 10 other schools in UBC's conference. You're not hearing Calgary and Edmonton and Saskatchewan or things like that because they don't play in the youth sports. And the men's baseball team here at UBC and the golf team, and I want to say one more sport, play in U.S. conferences. Due to the level of competition, the proximity geographically. Softball, women's softball isn't that advanced in Canada as it is in the U.S. Certainly these two would be right at the top of the pack. As far as quality of program, quality of talent, quality of commitment to the team, such as a university being the main check writer and the creation, the reconstruction of Nobel Field here in Westbrook, the community of Westbrook in Vancouver, to what is now called Collings Field, named after head coach Gord Collings. We're going to talk about Gord actually next inning when I have the next guest in the booth. And she'll tell you exactly why this man has had this field named after him. So it's now Collings Field at Nobel Park. And it'll stay that way. The park was kind of run down, not used very much, and as of course a park gets more weeds and less use, then people have less interest in the care it requires. But the community of Westbrook, the UBC softball team, their parents, and the university itself, the administration, the professors, the alumni who donated hundreds, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars between all those groups, have now created Collings Field here at Nobel Park. And boy, let's hope it stays as popular. There's got to be over 500 people here watching this game today. They're in every section of the park. It's a beautiful backdrop. You're looking at trees 100 feet high. Great for hitters. The hitter's eye. That ball's fouled back. Big, strong swing. By the shortstop, Emma Dorval. Hitters like to see the white or lime-colored ball coming out of a dark background, so the nature of this park provides that. You don't have to build a big green square that looks annoying in most places, but is needed by the hitters to keep the game fair. Who would love to play here? It's a cool day, about 10 degrees. You see a lot of the players with sleeves. Some go with bare arms, like this tough one at the plate. Emma Dorval making it a tough at-bat. She singled the first time up. It was a line drive to right field. She wound up scoring. Inside and low. On the mound for SFU is Anissa Zakarchuk. She pitched the second inning and did not allow a run. This is a pool cue shot that is just barely foul. Went off the end of the bat. It was like you took your cue on the white ball on a pool table and had to get around the ball. The ball was trying to stay fair even though the spin dictated that it went foul. Emma makes a great advantage of that good fortune that the ball was a few inches foul with another line drive, this time to right center field.
For a single. Now batting, number 8, Arshleen Bajwa.
And as we talked about, the substitutions continue. It's only fair if everyone plays. Heck, first time they get to play a game on this field, Collings Field at Nobel Park. Why not have everybody play on both teams? Who wouldn't want to play? And also, look at all the parents who are here today. They didn't come to watch their kids sit the pine. So in the game, pinch hitting for Shelby Kemple is Arshleen Bajwa. The people in the blue and gray, today's umpires are Susan Stafford at the plate and Brett Orton on the bases. I happened to be at the entrance of the ballpark when they walked in. Their heads were looking up and down and right and left at all the new reconstruction here. It's just a beautiful looking scene. You're seeing it thanks to the production of Thomas Bell. Thomas Bell runs a video production company. He's been airing games of club team softball, the great teams from BC, the Renegades, oh, talk about teams. I saw a couple of teams walk in here tonight. There was a team from Victoria. The girls came all the way over. The Outlaws, coached by Darren Freer, provincial bronze medalist last year. The whole team hopped on a ferry and came over to this big game today. The Delta Inferno are here today. And Thomas Bell has recently put together the equipment, the time, the effort, the energy. He was here before both teams today. I saw him stringing cables around the field. There's no electricity here, so there had to be a generator brought in just so he can bring you what you're seeing right now. It looks like Chevy Chase's Christmas lights in the movie Christmas Vacation. But he puts it all together and gives you different camera angles. I'm so happy to be here today and help him take over this side of the production. It's usually him doing the talking in addition to switching all the buttons. But thank goodness, because all the parents, not just from Ontario like myself, but the parents in Victoria or from other parts of BC, they just can't get in a car and drive down to every game. Now they can watch their daughters play softball. So in a day of thanks, great thanks to Thomas Bell, his wife Tracy. Bell Florist is a huge sponsor. It doesn't come cheap doing what he does. So every little bit helps. At the plate now for UBC. Grounder is short. Quick throw to third. Ends the inning. And UBC starts the rally, but
no runs on one hit, one runner left on base. After 3 innings of play, it's SFU 5, your UBC Thunderbirds with 6.
Nico, who's that last hitter at number 4 for UBC?
Gabby Dorval.
Oh, okay. Nico, the PA announcer, sharing information. I hope I can give it back to him if he's missing something. That was Gabby Dorval, pinch hitting there, who grounded out to end the inning. Little Boston Red Sox tribute here. Neil Diamond. Wonder if this crowd of about 500 people is going to do the wave, sing along with a song. What a great atmosphere at Collings Field at Nobel Park. On a cool, cloudy, looks like rain kind of afternoon, but I kind of get the feeling it's going to stave off and we're going to get all 6 or 7 or 8, whatever they're going to play for innings. Again, this is a scrimmage game between University of British Columbia and Simon Fraser University. They'll stop playing when they feel like it. Likely going to be about 7 innings, but the score isn't kept. They try to score. They're doing all the things they do in a normal game. But at this time of the year, the students, athletes, have to be student-first athletes and take care of the books. So they're not allowed to play competitively until the turn of the year. But they can play scrimmage games like this. Nice rocket over to first base.
Ground out to short. Dorval rips it to first for the first out of the inning.
Emma Dorval took a few hops to get to her, but when she got it, she fired a howitzer.
16, Hannah Boulanger.
So to begin this 4th inning of the game, 6-3. Emma Dorval over to Amelia Trembath. Hannah Boulanger is batting for Simon Fraser. Inside, just below the knees. On the mound still is Lindsay Bell. Taking care of business is Emily Sherrod at third base. Squared up so nicely on that. She did the perfect thing. When there's a ground ball hit to your right or your left and it's only a step or two, don't turn 90 degrees and run over and then turn another 90 degrees back to, just shuffle over with your feet. Let your feet catch the ball. Catch it in the middle of your body. And then a player like Emily Sherrod with a strong arm, that's why she's at the hot corner. Throws out Boulanger for the second out. Becca Kirkpatrick has drawn a base on balls both of her previous at-bats today. Watches another one go by. Obviously, she has a good eye. She's not there looking for a walk. She's a good hitter. She's got a good swing. I watched her take batting practice here. But she's not going to chase pitches. You're going to have to throw it in the strike zone. You look at 2 of the superstars of the Toronto Blue Jays this year. Foul ball, Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. When they've been hot, and their hot is hot, they are only swinging at strikes. And when they cool off, it doesn't last long, but they find themselves swinging at balls. They're just finding themselves 6 inches out of the strike zone. Susan Stafford, the plate ump, decides that pitch was just a little bit high. It looked like it was about belt high. Right down the middle of the plate. So Lindsay Bell goes back to the surefire formula of getting outs. Cheese at the knees, throw it hard, throw it low. If they swing, they're going to hit a ground ball. If you miss high and they swing, they might hit it into the trees. Speaking of high, that one was just above the belt, and a very sweet swing from Becca Kirkpatrick. Lines a shot to left field.
Line and a third, good for a single.
And that's the difference. Previous pitch was about 1 foot lower, and that one was just a hair above the belt. I'll say at the numbers, but the numbers aren't traditionally where they are. The number on the back of the SFU jerseys are traditionally in the high middle of the back, but they also have the number on the front of the jersey down on the left side. So
now batting for
I'll call that number high.
Jenny Balkin.
Oh, yeah, let's do Livy. Can you? Oh,
Yes, I am.
yeah. Why don't we do you? Yeah. No, come here right now. So I didn't know you were here. Yeah. Down to the short. It's backhanded, so they're not going to get the out. Oh, yes, they will get the out. Man. I'm going to ask this guest of mine who visits now, wouldn't you like an arm like Emma Dorba?
Oh, I would love
she threw her out.
Amazing.
One runner left on base.
So with me here in the booth as UBC is retired.
Might be time here for a bit of a sing-along.
There comes some Sweet Caroline, but we'll talk through that.
Okay.
You and I can handle that. We'll take on Neil Diamond, won't we?
Of course,
All
I'd
right.
love to.
So welcome to Olivia. Now, how do you say it?
Malescu.
Malescu.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. And you're no rookie. You're not. This isn't your first rodeo. You got a piece of a season with UBC.
Yeah, I got a little bit. Yeah.
How much did you get to play that year?
We had our Hawaii trip, had about 4 or 5 games there, and then I believe we had 2 weekends after that.
Right. Yeah. March.
Yeah, something like that.
March 17 or right in that neighborhood. Yeah. So
Yes.
that must have been a real downer. And you are not a person that likes to stand still. You
No,
come
not,
here to get
not particularly.
busy.
Yeah.
So what'd you do? You trained? What did you guys do during COVID?
We did a lot of practicing. We tried to get some squad games in and inter squad. That was all really good. Our coaches did a great job of keeping us busy the whole year, hoping to get some games in. We didn't last year, but super excited to be out now.
So tell me about, and I'm sure you can speak for your teammates because it seems to me you all feel the same way. Tell me about this day. Here we are at a place for the first time named Collings Field at Nobel Park. It was Nobel Park, and now you're Coach Gord, who we're going to talk about in a minute. And the university has chipped in big bucks and big effort in every way possible. The parents of the team got to work and raise some money. Kara, who's going to be the third game, Kayla McDowell, will be the third guest of the game today. And I'm going to ask her some questions about the fundraising because it's unbelievable what they did.
Oh, yeah.
And then professors and alumni and people coming out of the woodwork to finance this miracle we're looking at. Tell me, when you're standing here looking at this field, how much are you looking forward to playing here?
I am so excited. It's honestly amazing. Even just being able to practice on our own field is huge, and being able to have all our friends from the university out as well, coaches, teammates, strength and conditioning coaches, seeing a ton of familiar faces, which is super cool, and just really good vibes here today.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can have friends and parents and professors that may want to come, but no one could see you guys play really from here because they'd have to drive an hour to Surrey to a great facility.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a lot to ask of your friends to give up 2 hours of their day, just like you guys were doing, to practice and play there. So finally, this beautiful area of Westbrook, which is adjacent to the campus. So it's like it's an on-campus diamond. And you guys get to use it when you need it, and the community gets the benefit of this beautiful facility. Because they chipped in too, if I didn't mention Westbrook community.
Yes.
Of course, money and man hours and all those types of things. Sweat equity, they call it.
Yep.
And so it's really a win-win, isn't it? There's going to be more ball games here, you know, the whole works.
Yeah, it's so exciting. It's such a good environment, and we're just so grateful for all the donors and everyone who's played a part in making this possible. Makes us feel, all the girls, really special, and we're so excited about it. I can't say that enough.
You have one of the, you're a catcher.
Yes.
You're a left-handed catcher, which is quite rare. And you got to be good if you're a catcher. You got to be really good if you're going to be a left-handed catcher. And I mean, softball and baseball are sort of dinosaurs in a way because really if you're a left-handed catcher, in Canada, we have a lot of left-handed hitters due to hockey, so you're really not at the disadvantage that people sometimes perceive.
No, it's not too bad. I figure it out. It's a little more awkward, but it works. It's doable.
Well, back when you didn't have that brick on your right hand there, she's wearing a cast, and so that doesn't bode well. But previously, because that just happened recently, your accident.
Yeah.
But previously, I got to see you on stream, not live, play some scrimmages against Simon Fraser, and you threw the ball pretty well on the second base. You feel good?
Yeah, it felt good. I mean, with all the practice we've done the last 2 years, I hope my arm's doing all right. So, yeah, it's felt good, and I'm excited to get back out there with the team because they're playing great today.
SFU 5, your UBC Thunderbirds 6.
Wow, you look good, and not only a strong arm, but an accurate arm. You threw very well to second base. I took note of that. So now, let's talk about your team.
Yes.
You guys are going to be, assuming we can get across that border, because your conference played with 10 teams last year, everybody but the T-Birds.
Yes.
So we keep all of our fingers crossed for you guys. Let's just assume we're gonna keep going down to where we gotta get to get that border open. How do you think tell me about your team right now. You guys have been indoors, you've played some scrimmages. Tell me about both your strengths and maybe some areas of improvement that you might hope still happen between now and the season.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have some amazing talent with us right now this year, and honestly, one of the best teams I've seen since I've been watching. I think we're just filled with talent and girls who want to win and be competitive. I mean, I think it's just a lot about getting experience because we're obviously a pretty young team. We got a good group of seniors, but they also haven't played a ton. So I think it's just back getting looks on the field and just getting that kind of feel and experience, I guess, yeah.
How, you're a pretty good hitter, by the way. I had multiple hit games at well, I know they weren't games, but I'm saying when you were out on the field and SFU was on the same field, you know, I saw you get a couple of hits each time. One game, 3 hits, I think. What's it like? You've got an indoor facility which you can use on the campus.
Yeah.
And what's it like hitting in a batting tunnel all winter and then finally getting outside?
It's awesome. It's just kind of that payoff for all the hard work that everyone's been doing, and it's we have great facilities, which is huge and super helpful, and we're so excited about that and that we're able to use those and take advantage. But yeah, it's just very like kind of a relieving feeling being back on the field and being like, this is why we were working so hard, and very motivating as well.
Yeah, that must be, because as much as you guys are committed and you're strong and you want to make yourselves better and your team better, it's tough doing the same thing squeezed indoors. You know, So what a reward and what a motivator, as you said.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about your coach, but I want to ask you personally one more question.
Yeah.
You're a catcher. You're a leader. You're the only player on the field facing all the action. Everyone else is looking at you, but you get to see everybody. And what kind of a leader are you? Are you a quiet leader and do by example? Are you a rah-rah gal? Are you a prankster that keeps the team loose? What's your deal?
I'd say we have a really good group of seniors who are all of them lead in their own way, and we got that a little more experience there and so on. Being a junior, I like to try to kind of keep it light, let the pitchers not get too in their heads, and I like to keep it light. Cheer on the team, bit of a cheerleader, yeah.
I love it. Let's. Who is on the mound? I can't see her number.
Shay.
Shay Seaver. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is our kind of rookie.
Yeah, she's our first year. Yeah.
The lineup. Well, of course, it's not a game, so the normal pregame things aren't set, and that can sometimes make me ask the guest who's pitching.
Yeah.
Like you just did. Thank you. That's Shay Seaver out there on the mound. Okay. Last question.
Yes.
This field is named Collings Field. They didn't have to do that. That wasn't part of the deal. Gord was completely blown away.
Yeah.
And he's the guy who shows his emotions. He'll cry when he's touched, and he'll, tell me, Gord Collings. I'm going to say this here. Gord is. Excuse me for 1 second. I want to get this right. Man, you talk about a guy with a pedigree. Well, after my notes, he's a longtime teacher. He coached at Douglas College.
Yeah.
He coached BC to a gold medal in the 2013 Canada Summer Games. He coached team, he was the gold medalist in the 2011 BC Summer Games. So he's been on the winning side.
Oh, yeah.
And he knows his game, and he's very well respected. So
Yeah.
we know all that about Gord. Tell us and the people watching and listening about Gord Collings, the guy who you see every day on the practice field, in the dugout. Tell us about Gord Collings.
I mean, like you mentioned, obviously he's so qualified and is a great coach strategically and on the field, all of that. But he really just treats us like we're well-respected people and has just so much respect for us, and we give it back to him because I can't speak enough on his character and how much he's done even just for this field. This week, I know he's been running all over the place like crazy, and he's been running our practices still, and I don't know how he juggles it all, but I can't say enough about how much he really truly cares for us as people, not just athletes. And it's
Boy,
it's amazing.
If I hope your softball career lasts a long time, but if it doesn't, you can do this stuff for a living. You're a great, you're a great interview. You're easy to talk to. Thank you for this, and thanks for. I think it's really important that everyone who has chipped into this, everyone who's paying attention, understands what a big change it is for you guys to balance your academics and your athletics together a little easier without this drive time so far away. You're proud of this field, and I think you have a really great few years ahead of you here at UBC. We look forward to watching you, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Bye.
That was Olivia, and I always say her name differently every time I say it. Livy, that's what she is to me. We're going to get you folks caught up on this scrimmage game. Kind of like a broadcast of a scrimmage game, but because they don't keep score, because there's not statistics. I mean, we're going to talk about the girls and how they're doing and what they did last time up, but it enables us to bring in some personalities such as Ainsley Carey. And that ball is hit. It's off the wall, not out of the park. And it was kind of funny. She had Alex Ogg had to come to a stop going to second. She was thinking about third. So as she's rounding first, she's watching the ball. Is it going to go over? No, it hit the fence in the air. So she proceeds on to second, only to find the runner who had to tag up at second in case that ball was caught. So Alex had to put on the brakes like if she was at a stoplight about 10 feet from second base, or we would have had two runners there. But the runner advanced, and that puts runners now at second and third.
And you're attending today's game.
For SFU.
I will. Thank you for the mug.
Shay Seaver is the pitcher
Do you have umbrellas?
for UBC right now. She is the third pitcher of the day. Caitlin Kim began the scrimmage game on the mound.
Hannah Finkelstein.
And following her was Lindsay Bell. Simon Fraser has runners. One crossing the plate already. Runner on third. Up high at the ice. Batting now for Simon Fraser is number 18, Hannah Finkelstein. This is her fourth at bat of the day. Change up just a smidgen high. I think one, yeah. Nico, the PA announcer, is helping me out here. We want to get it right. I mean, again, it doesn't matter because it's not an official game. I kind of think of scrimmage games as innings to innings games. Let's try to beat them this inning, and then I think a good comparison would be like playing skins in curling or skins in golf. Play an inning and then wipe off the board and do it again. If it was official, they of course would have been having a scoreboard up and showing the tally of the numbers today.
Stay with the second strikeout.
Change up for a
That wraps
strikeout.
up the top half of the fifth. One run on a couple hits. One runner left on base.
Well, it's a scrimmage game,
After
and
the
so
top of the fifth, we're all tied up at 6-6.
okay. According to the announcer, Nico, it's 6-6. I think there's been more runs on that score, but because it's a scrimmage.
I do want to say a big thank you to our UBC field crew.
I don't know if they play inning by inning or if they don't care. I mean, but who cares? Yeah, it's
today. As well, a big
we're built that way to try to count them up. Did you win? Did you lose? You know,
offset the cost of a university education at one of the top schools in North America. Be sure to visit Beercraft Westbrook Mall 2 blocks north after the game and take advantage of their great menu items and cool beverages.
I just heard Nico, the PA guy, make a really big announcement. If you're nearby, Beercraft at Westbrook Mall is giving discounts if you can walk in there and mention UBC baseball. And if you are looking for a coffee, a couple blocks away from Westbrook is Blem's Coffee Shop.
21,
if you walk in there after the game, mention softball at UBC and you're going to get yourself a free cup of Java. Great to have these two teams on the same field today. UBC is the only Canadian university that participates in the NAIA, which is based in the USA. Simon Fraser University is the only Canadian university in the NCAA. They're in Division II. And until the scrimmage games that they're trying to have some fun with because they can't cross the border, you can only play an inter-squad game so many times.
Number 16, Mia Volk.
Among your own teams. So now SFU and UBC, this is the 5th time they've gotten together for a scrimmage. But until that point, the UBC softball team had not played a game for 534 days. 5, 3, 4. That's almost 2 years. The Simon Fraser had not played for 538 days. So they are so happy to be on the field playing what feels like a real softball game, but with the protocol of a scrimmage game. Vault grounds to short. The throw is to the first baseman's right, but she stretched and managed to keep her toe on the bag.
Able to keep her in front of the base. That's out number 2.
Great play by the Simon Fraser first baseman, Hannah Finkelstein. Look at this pair of bookends at the booth here. Pair of UBC player moms, probably making sure I say the right things and don't say the wrong things. This scrimmage game is in accordance with the NAIA and NCAA rules, and so that's why there's not stats being compiled today or officials keeping up the score. So if you wonder why we're not referencing the tally between the two teams, that's why, because it is a scrimmage game, and that's all they can do. And these are not coaches who are willing to break the rules, and they should. I want to say thanks, by the way, to the UBC field crew and the groundskeepers for all their work on the field, working on the infield this past week to make it safe for the players and allowing them to play. Shay Seaver, the pitcher, is now stepping to the plate for UBC. Speaking of thank yous, the media guide sponsors of UBC softball, thank you so much for your ongoing support to fund scholarships for our student athletes and help them offset the cost of a university education at, well, easily one of the top schools in North America. And by the way, they're on most lists, UBC, for global being the best schools. So it's a great place to be, and certainly a great place to play softball. We invite everybody to go to the UBC Athletics website and check the dates for their home games here at Collings Field starting in March. Be sure to visit Blend's Coffee on Westbrook Mall, 3 blocks north, and take advantage of the UBC softball special today. You get an upsize on your choice of beverage by telling them you are a UBC softball fan and are attending today's game. Be sure to visit Beercraft at Westbrook Mall, 2 blocks north from here, after the game and take advantage of their great menu items and cool beverages. Now, one guy I know watching today can't do those 2 offers because he's in Ontario. That's Trent Hilpert. Sorry, Trent, that doesn't apply to you. Throw to first, they're gonna get her. She got picked. And just like Brett Laurie, they call Valcke a menace on the bases, and she's gutsy, but sometimes
first. 2 outs.
Your aggressiveness will not pay off. And on that particular time, she had a very aggressive lead, was thinking about stealing, and they sharp shot her over there and call her out. But with players like that, you gladly take all the good things they bring to your team and accept once in a while when it doesn't work out. Finally, on my list of thank yous, I want to make sure to the ground ball to center field, right field, excuse me. And Shea Seaver helps her own effort as the pitcher, trying to get a run up on that side of the scoreboard. Thanks, though, to the Simon Fraser Youth Softball team for being a part of this historic day for the UBC softball team and hosting the UBC softball team over at your place a couple of times. And I think the next time you guys are going to see each other is October 16th weekend. So the team here at UBC looks forward to that. And parents like me who live in Ontario look forward to seeing Thomas Bell Productions stream that game. It's something we look forward to all week long. Heading into 2022, again, assuming COVID restrictions are relaxed enough and everything else, this UBC team will be hopping a plane to Hawaii for a 10-day stay, at least 8 days. It might be 10. Yeah, 8 games I think they're playing altogether. They're going to play every university there. They've been doing this for a few years now. So by the way, if you recruit, if you're a recruit considering UBC, keep in mind that going to Hawaii is part of the schedule.
Left on base.
I flew there from Hong Kong to watch them a couple of years ago, 2018, and they were very competitive, very respectable. The teams loved mixing with the UBC, and they've now developed a camaraderie that it seems to be an annual thing. So that's when they'll next see real games again. It'll be scrimmages until that point. Only a couple more before they put it away and take on exams. So Hawaii comes February 14th, and then the season will start in the early part of March. The music plays here at Collings Field at Nobel Park. What an experience, what a electricity. It's a dull day, it's cold and overcast, but there's been about 500 people in the yard today, and they're not leaving. There are lawn chairs all through the outfield fence. They're in the stands that are grass and cement blocks going down the right field in front of a beautiful garden that horticulturalists would love. Down the left field side,
6-6 here as we start the 6th inning.
Cars are parked on both sides of the road. Police probably relaxing, giving tickets because they've never seen this many cars. Because this park has just not been used for a long, long time. It got run down. It didn't get used very much. And the partnership of the University of British Columbia, the Westbrook community, the players and parents of the UBC team, and everybody from alumni to professors and corporate sponsors has chipped in and turned this facility into Collings Field, named after Coach Gord Collings. Collings Field at Nobel Park. So as we begin the 6th inning, Simon Fraser, the visiting team, is batting first. Up at the plate is Chelsea Hotner, the right field player for SFU. She's a left-handed hitter. I think she might be a switch hitter, because I thought I saw her bat from the other side of the plate. But either way, she's a good hitter. She bats third. That's always a key part of the lineup. That's where Vladdy Guerrero bats, so you know that's a key spot in the lineup. Her good eye takes another ball. She can afford to be picky. She's a good hitter. Good sharp swing. Let's hit a fly ball to center field today. Hard grounder up the middle. And there's a shot down the right field line that's going to be a home run. If it's fair, it's over the fence, but it's about 10 feet to the right of the right field foul pole. So it's unfortunately just a long strike. But there you got a chance to see the quick bat of Chelsea Hotner. She knows what pitch she's looking for. She's very patient at the plate. And with a swing like that, you can afford to be patient. On the mound for UBC again this inning is Shea Seaver, trying to win the battle And Chelsea Hotner shows yet another dimension of her game. She's one of those slappers, those terribly annoying hitters who are left-handed, and somehow they have the athleticism to start running down the first base line while they're finishing their swing. If the ball takes more than one hop, you can't get her out because they're already at first base. She fouled that one off. But boy, she's got a lot of tools in her arsenal. And she does it again and is successful with a beautiful line drive, kind of a chopped swing as she was leaving the box, and she is on first base. What an interesting at-bat.
Hit to right field.
For the three-hitter of Simon Fraser, Chelsea Hotner.
Next up, number 16, Hannah Boulanger.
Hannah Boulanger has found herself on base. She's had 3 at-bats previously to this inning of the scrimmage game. She walked, doubled, and scored. Flew out to center field. This nice red clay here at Collings Field at Nobel Park, make it nice for base stealers. Chelsea Hotner looks like she might be one of those kind of players too. Two teams are, this is the 5th time they've played a scrimmage game this fall, and every game has been very evenly matched. Makes sense. Both programs have good coaches. Pop up over to the left side. It's not going to come back, but boy, oh boy, it sure came close to a family over there. Glad nobody got hurt. Don't want to have something like that happen today. UBC's third baseman and catcher ran over to the third base dugout side, thinking it might just get back into the park enough to be caught. And here goes another bomb, deep center field. Valcke back, catches it just before the fence, relays it back. The runner on first base, Hotner.
Long fly ball to center.
She went halfway, and that's what you have to do on those. There's no sense tagging up on a fly ball, even though it was deep center field. That's just an easy catch and throw. She wouldn't be able to advance on that. So you go halfway, and when the ball does get caught, you have to retreat to first base. Ground ball fouled on the first base line. I mentioned the coaches a second ago. Take it on the UBC coaches roster. Boy, is it interesting. Gord Collings, who is the honcho of the UBC softball team and the man they named this field after, his daughter Paige played a little bit of softball. She is now an assistant coach on the team. Paige Collings went to Dexter University in Philadelphia. She was a 4-time All-Star. All 4 years she played there, she is named All-Star. And her 4th and final year at Dexter University, the Canadian Paige Collings won the Student Athlete Award for Dexter University. That's not MVP of the softball team. That's best student athlete among all athletes, men and women, all sports. How about that on your mantelpiece at home? Another coach of UBC is Erin Holtzman. Erin Holtzman didn't play her ball in the USA or at UBC. She actually went to the opposition on the field today, Simon Fraser University. And boy, did she pile up stats. She was a stud. The Simon Fraser played in the NAIA in the USA at that point in time. They won the national championship, a Canadian university, about 8 years ago. And by the way, who was the pitcher? And by the way, the MVP of that national championship in the US? It was Erin Holtzman. So she comes here with a great pedigree as well.
Do you know the base up's name?
Brett Orton. Orton. There are also 2 volunteer coaches on UBC, a former pitcher and a former catcher with the program just a year or 2 ago before COVID. And those are Jordan Britton Young and Damara Begin. And so you put on the Thunderbird uniform and you're going to get a great experience under the head coach Gord Collings, but he's got help. And that's why they're such a complete team. Pop up to third. That was a tricky one. You saw Emily Sherritt really kind of frozen under that because it was again one of those pool cue shots, and even though the ball looked like it was a soft on tour, it was spinning wildly and had like a kind of a hooking action. And it was spinning so hard, it's a kind of ball that can hit your glove and spin right out of the pocket and say, boy, that person can't catch. But it was just the crazy action on the ball that came her way. At the plate now for Simon Fraser is Kristen Davidoux. Runner on second. Everyone on the go with 2 outs.
Fly out to second, that'll do it here for the top half of the 6th. No runs on 1 hit, 1 runner left on base.
Pop-up was surrounded, ends the inning. No runs scored. Coaches are having conversations. The weather, it's been cool today, but good baseball weather. If you're out there playing, it feels pretty good. Some of the players don't even wear undersleeves today. But if you're sitting in the stands, it can start to get chilly and you want a blanket and a cup of coffee. But it really hasn't gotten any colder since the start of the game, but there are raindrops falling now. And those were the coaches you saw just a minute ago discussing how long do you want to go here today. You know, they want to talk about, you know, how many players they want all their players to get in at bat for sure, especially on a special day like it is today. They want their pitchers to get their share of innings pitched against live hitters because, again, pitching against your own team kind of gets old when you do it for months and months.
Now batting number 18.
Head coach of Simon Fraser is Tina Andriana, assisted by Kino Magano and Stacy Fournier. We'll talk about a softball family. The Fourniers are cornerstones of softball in this area. So, Thomas Bell Productions. Thomas is over there in this, looks like a space pod. The raindrops are hitting it. He's keeping his electronics and wires and buttons and cables and plugs and HDMI cords dry by being under that, pushing the buttons to give you these numerous camera angles that you're seeing today. Everybody is so thankful to Thomas Bell Productions, and Tracy is a big part of that, his wife. She's here when we've had guests in the booth. She's been holding the remote camera doing the filming, so you get to see who we were talking to. We had Ainsley Carey, the Vice President of Students at UBC early on, and he was just, you could have talked to him all game. And then the live wire, Olivia I'm going to say it wrong, so I'm not going to say it. But you know who she is. She is the UBC catcher, great hitter, and she really gave us a tremendous player's perspective on what this diamond means and how nice it is to get outside finally. And even though they're only scrimmage games and you don't keep score, how much it means to them to get out of the training cycle and get on a field with a team wearing another color of uniform.
17, Shelby Kemple.
Hitters that you don't know, pitchers that you haven't seen. It's just real motivation, says Livy. Shelby Kemple, speaking of pitchers, she started the game on the mound today for the Thunderbirds. She is now hitting. Ground ball just fouled down the right field line. Anissa Zakarchuk throwing for SFU. She's from the Waterloo Ghosts organization in Ontario. And 3 of her teammates from Waterloo play for the Thunderbirds. And on top of that, I think I had news today of another Waterloo Ghost coming to UBC, being Britt Hunsberger. She is a new recruit. Gord Collings announced that this morning. Also, Taylor McRae from Vancouver, Washington, not Vancouver, British Columbia. Casey Lowe and Avery Mossop, 2 more White Rock, BC players committed to UBC, so that's big news for the team and for the future. Coach Collings also had good news from 2 of his seniors. Line drive, a rocket to third. That's going to be 2, and you really can't blame the UBC base runner who Avery Hilpert. It was just such a shot. There's no way you thought that would be caught. And so off she went and got doubled up on first base.
No runs. 1 runner left on
But
base.
to finish off the good news from Coach Collings, 2 of his senior players who academically are close to finishing things out, they have committed to play their 5th years next year. So Shelby Kemple, who just hit a few minutes ago, and Mia Valcke have committed to play for UBC the next 2 years. So Collings sees some seniors sticking around, some exciting recruits coming out of high school to UBC. Again, Brint Hunsberger from Waterloo, Ontario, Taylor McRae from Vancouver, Washington, Casey Lowe, and Avery Mossop. Welcome to the Thunderbird family. We can't wait to see you wearing the blue and gold. I'm thinking,
And here we have it, softball fans.
I was going
to 7th and final
there's a
inning
couple
of
of
play.
baseball players here. I was
Back
thinking
on the
maybe a
mound for the Thunderbirds,
UBC
number
mom,
17, Shelby Kemple.
like Paula. Let me see if she'll do it. So this is last inning, and I'd like to do an interview with UBC moms, player moms. Willing to do it? I'll just say first name. All right. We're gonna do it. Hey, what is this, some magic trick? What's going on? I turned my back and... All right, we're gonna have a final interview. This is actually your microphone, so you hold it.
Okay.
And this is we've looked at the perspective today from Ainsley Carey, the Vice President of Students from UBC, who is just absolutely delightful and informative, and he is dynamite. We call President Ono a rock star. He's dynamite. And the second interview...
So you want to end on a low note, is that what you're saying?
So The second, we went to the youth card, and how do you say Olivia's last name? Matrescu?
Milescu,
Milescu? Milescu. Okay, I needed to say that once correctly. And she brought us the players' perspective, how much the diamond means to them, how much the program they're enjoying, and from that perspective. And given that this is going to be the last inning in this scrimmage game, I thought we'd take advantage to speak to Paula. We'll leave last names out. And tell us from a mom of a player's perspective about today, this field, no more going to Surrey. A field in red, yellow, surrounded by orange and fall leaves, about 500 people surrounding the park, energy. How does it feel to be here today? What does it mean from a mom's perspective?
Well, I'll tell you that the opening ceremony brought me to tears. It was just beautiful, and I'm just so happy for these women and that they've been recognized in this way, because it's just such an important milestone for women and women in sport and women at UBC. So we're just delighted to be here and be watching our girls playing at their home field, which is just it's just amazing. And I'm very happy for Coach Collings and all of the people who've contributed to this amazing park, and just it's a beautiful ambiance.
Well, UBC has a not just a great reputation in Canada. McLean's always has it at the top of their many lists. It's also on many global lists, and the sports are part of the great culture here. Fly ball to left field, that should be surrounded and caught. There's 2 outs. And but obviously it's their academics and their research and their innovation and everything from top down. Now the girls have 2 less hours that they have to spend traveling to practice for the academic side, and you are in education yourself. How important is that to a student?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even in terms of sleep, right? Being able to, ride your bike 5 or 10 minutes to get to your park instead of driving an hour, especially in the early morning. And they practice in all kinds of weather, right? So it's not just beautiful sunny days that they're getting up in the morning, but also, very dark early mornings that they have to get on the road when they're going to Surrey. So this is really special in so many ways.
So
it will save them a lot of time.
Sure will. And it's critical because they're student athletes. They're not athlete students. So that was a great move by the university to partner in this. If you've had a son go through here successfully, and you have a daughter halfway through successfully, to say the least, as well. And if you had another, would you send him or her to UBC?
Oh, there's no question. And I would also have a plan in place to be here permanently.
No, actually, I'm going to ask you one more question, because
Okay.
we can't. It's called Collings Field. We can't not address Coach Gord Collings.
Right.
What are your thoughts on him after having him coach your daughter for 3 years?
I will tell you that I always knew that my daughter and all of the women on this team were in the best care, right? That he cares for these women like his own children. And I just felt a sense of peace knowing that my daughter Mia was playing under his guidance, for the past few years, and will continue to do so. So yeah, for sure, if I had any more kids, they'd be here as well.
Well, it's certainly a deserving honor. Thank you for your time. We got it in before the game's going to come to an end here, so we appreciate your thoughts.
Well, it was my pleasure, and thank you very much.
Now, don't take that fancy microphone home with you. You get to keep that here. So Simon Fraser keeps the inning alive. First 2 outs were made by UBC on a couple of routine plays.
Now batting number 7, Alex R.
Shelby Kemple, who started this scrimmage game on the mound, is going to pitch the last inning here. Easy steal of second base. She got a great jump. In softball, you can't leave until the ball crosses the plate, so you really have to have some wheels if you're going to advance in that way. There's a base hit that's easily going to score a run. It's into the gap all the way to the Canadian flag. Chelsea Hotner.
That's a double from Og. Scores a run.
Oh, that wasn't, sorry, my eyes didn't deceive me there. That was.
That'll make it 7-6 here on the top of the 7th. Our final inning of play. Next up, batting for SFU, number 18, Hannah Finkelstein.
Nico, was that? Nico, was that Alex Og or Georgia Og? Alex, okay. Alex Og was the one who drove that ball out to left center field. And at the plate now is Hannah Finkelstein. There are 2 out. Shelby Kempel on the mound. Pop up. It's going to be a tough play. Nicely done.
Making the play for the 3rd out of the inning. That's your catcher, number 10, Amelia Trembach.
Trembach moved from first base to the catcher's position for that inning, and that's a tough play because the ball, she had to run towards it, and the ball, when it was coming down, was going further away from her, and she had to make a basket catch while looking to the rear over her shoulder to try to locate where it was at. In the meantime, the third baseman's coming in saying, wait a minute, I might, no, I'll let you have it. And Emily Sherritt made the right. I thought she was playing just too deep to get there on time, so nice play by Amelia Trembach. Pretty athletic. She doesn't have your prototype catcher's frame. She's tall and strong, and usually you'll see players like that in the corners, left or right field, first or third base. And she did play first base earlier. Usually the catchers are more shorter, certainly, and agile, spring feet, rangy.
Thunder fans in the stands, here we are.
But she handles the position quite well. And as often happens in our sport,
here in today's scrimmage.
the player who makes a great defensive play,
UBC Thunderbirds 6.
you would think it'd be 1 out of 9 because that's the mathematical odds. But it's not that way. When you make a great defensive play, it seems like you always just happen to be
Thunderbirds,
the leadoff hitter of the next inning. And here she is. So this will be the final half inning played of this excellent scrimmage game today. Another evenly matched battle. We haven't tallied the score because they don't do that in scrimmages. But that ball was hit as hard as you can hit it.
That's Trembach,
but it was hit
ball hit to second. Out number 1.
right at number 5. Becca Kirkpatrick. So she squared up, was ready to take it off her body, but she got it into her glove with soft hands and relayed to first base. 1 out. Hannah Hansen watches a changeup. Simon Fraser U still has Anissa Kacharchi. Anissa Kacharczyk on the mound. Sorry about that. We got a couple of administrative things going on around us here. The game is about to come to an end, so there's some protocols necessary. Kacharczyk facing her second batter this inning. She's put together about 4 innings today. Strikes out using a changeup again. Hannah Hansen, who says, okay, you got me this time, but we're going to see each other again on October 16th. I'm going to remember the changeup you threw and try and get back at you. Is it going to stay fair? Oh, just foul. Most running bunts.
Batting now for your number 9, Kate A.
You'll see them going down the third base line because, of course, that's a farther throw to get you out at first. But that time, Kate tried to pull it down the right field line, the first base line, and that's exactly what you want. You either want a base hit, which it would have been if it stayed fair, or a foul ball. You don't want to push it towards the pitcher and give her an easy out. Kate Ing showing she's got some different ways she can hit. She's one of those lefty slappers who are dangerous. Runs and hits at the same time. It's like a running bunt, and she is out by a hair at first base. Yarchuk got on that ball quickly, and I think that is going to end the day. And the way the players are shaking hands in each dugout tells us that this memorable day here at, remember the new name, Collings Field at Nobel Park. The ribbon cutting ceremony was today.
That will do it.
And the thanks are endless.
A big thank you to SFU softball for being part of this historic day for our UBC softball team and for also hosting our team while our field was being prepared. A big thank you to SFU.
Great to have them as the opponent on this first game, not scheduled game, but scrimmage game on Collings Field at Nobel Field.
A big thank you to our umpires based on Brett Orton and home plate umpire Susie Stafford.
Remember, UBC is the only Canadian university in the NAIA.
Sponsors.
Simon Fraser is the only Canadian university in the NCAA Division II.
A big round of applause for both teams in today's matchup.
They both have not played games in more than 500 days. So this scrimmage, which was in accordance with the NAIA and NCAA rules, not keeping score and stats and that, but it was a welcome pleasure to get on this gorgeous field, which has been a complete makeover, and to see both teams who have been working so hard, but endlessly practicing for almost 2 years to finally get out and play some real baseball. Or excuse me, softball. See a team in a different color uniform. See players who you don't know everything about them because you've been playing your teammates in inter-squad games for a couple of years. The thanks extend certainly to the partners in this, the corporate sponsors,
As the day comes into an end,
the philanthropists, the donors, alumni, professors,
have a great rest of your
players
day.
and their families who raised money and donated it. The University of British Columbia who kicked in big time funds.
This is what's live right now. I'm just doing a slideshow.
Okay, good. Yeah, those are your players. They get to see them as we wind this broadcast up. I'm just giving a few more thank yous here. And I'm going to jump right on to Thomas Bell Productions again. We are so appreciative for him putting this together. Those of us like me who live far, far away, 3,000 kilometers, when they get together again on October 16th, I'll be watching the game, but I won't need an airplane. I'll be watching Thomas Bell Productions. So thank you so much to you and Tracy, Thomas. Thanks to the UBC field crew for all their work on the field, working the infield this past week to make it safe for the players and allowing this tremendous day to happen today. They wouldn't have had the ceremony if the game didn't follow, and the field took a lot of preparation to get that ready. Thank you to the media guide sponsors of UBC softball for your ongoing support every year that funds scholarships for our student athletes and help them offset the cost of a university education at one of the top schools in North America and one of the top schools on the planet. We invite you to go to UBC Athletics website and check the dates for their home games here at Collings Field at Nobel Park, which will begin in March after their February trip to Hawaii to start the season. If you're still listening, be sure to visit Blend's Coffee on Westbrook Mall, just 3 blocks north of here, and take advantage of their UBC softball special today. Be sure to visit Beercraft Westbrook Mall, just 2 blocks north after the game, and take advantage of their great menu items and cool beverages. Thank you to Simon Fraser University for being part of this historic day for our UBC softball team, and for also hosting our team while our field was being prepared. And lastly, I want to thank the players. It's not easy. There was never a playbook for COVID, and there certainly wasn't one for a university softball team for what to start doing in March of 2019 when everything stopped. But they have obviously stayed in great shape. They've obviously improved despite the fact that they couldn't play, and you saw it here today with great skills on both sides of the ball. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's hope the Blue Jays wound up winning. Can we get a confirmation on that? Anybody know that's walking by? They were ahead 8-1, so let's hope they're still in the hunt, and let's hope these two women's teams have tremendous seasons ahead. We'll see you again on October 16th. Thanks to Thomas Bell Productions. Thanks for tuning in today. It was a pleasure, and it was great to be here, and if you couldn't be here, you were in the next best place, which was watching Thomas Bell Productions on your television. Thanks for dialing us up. Have a great day. I left here, and of all things to fly away,